The 2019 NHL Entry Draft Lottery has wrapped up in Toronto. We now know who's got that coveted first pick in the upcoming draft. I'm live at the Sportsnet studios, Sportsnet 650 studios in Vancouver, and joining me is Randeep Janda of Reach Deep. You can hear him Monday to Friday, 1 to 4 on Sportsnet 650. So Randeep, let's bring it back to basics here. For those of the viewers at home who don't know what the Entry Draft Lottery is, what exactly is that? What just happened?
Well, it's the 15 teams that didn't make the NHL playoffs. They have a lottery to figure out who's going to get the draft eligible players and in what order. And that's a very, very important date for a lot of those teams that weren't able to get the playoffs, because the higher you have, the higher up the order you are, it means you get the better player. So this is a big, big date on the NHL calendar, especially when you're talking about prospects, especially when you're talking about that potential next really generational talent or that franchise player. So this is a momentous occasion every year in the NHL.
So the Vancouver Canucks got the 10th pick. What's your take on that?
It's a disappointment for the fan base that has missed out on a top 3 pick for a number of years now as well. So this is disappointing in that sense, but it's not a surprise. If you look at the Vancouver Canucks right now and what their odds were, they were expected to pick maybe 9th or 10th. So I know fans out there may be disappointed, but if you look at probability and the statistics, this makes a lot of sense. At number 10, what does this mean in terms of a player? You're going to get a quality player. There's no question that this draft is loaded with centermen, with defensemen as well, but you're not going to get the ultimate prize, which is a Jack Hughes type of player who is a franchise player right now. And of course, with that, Quinn Hughes, the brother of Jack Hughes, plays in Vancouver. So there was this hope that maybe he could be on the same team as his brother. That won't happen because he's going to be going first or second, probably first, but at number 10, you're still going to get a solid player. It's just not going to be that level of player.
Now, at number 10, is this a player that we can see in a Canucks uniform next season to help push them into the playoffs? They didn't make it this year. I know they're hopeful of getting into the playoffs next season. Will we see this 10th pick, if we're to keep 10th, in the Canucks lineup next season?
Next year, it won't happen next year. That's much too soon for those players. There's really only 2 players in this draft that you would see playing next year in the NHL. That's Jack Hughes, who's expected to go number 1, and Kakko Kaapo from Finland, who's expected to go number 2. Beyond that, these players are works in progress. So at number 10, what you're looking at is a player who would at least probably you won't see for maybe 2 years. And that's okay. That's not a disappointment. That's the average, expected ripening age for a prospect in today's NHL. So you won't be seeing this player for a couple of years unless they really pick up their game next year, but that's kind of the average for any NHL prospect.
And is this final? Will the Canucks have the 10th pick, or is there any possibility that they make some moves and Canucks management somehow gets a higher pick?
Well, a trade could always happen. So if you're sitting at number 10 and you're the Vancouver Canucks, you can always call those GMs. If you're Jim Benning right now, you can certainly explore trade options. Now, the question here is, if you're trying to move up in the draft, what will it cost you? Because those teams are going to be trying to get a lot from you. So if you're trying to get into the top 3, you're going to be expecting to get rid of your 10th pick. That will definitely have to be a part of the trade, but maybe a player like a Brock Besser or a Bo Horvat. And that's when Jim Benning will have to ask himself, is it worth it? Because those players are really, really important to the team right now. But if you want to move up, I don't know if it's worth shedding one of those players just to get another prospect, even though it may be a special prospect. So you can certainly move up, but there's a price.
And so the draft is in June, and it's actually here at Rogers Arena. The last time it was in Vancouver was in 2006. Really quickly, what can somebody expect who's going to the actual draft? Yeah,
there's going to be, this town, Vancouver, will be loaded with analysts, with team reps, and of course prospects hitting the town that weekend. And if you're a hockey geek, especially, you want to, schmooze with a lot of people that are in the hockey world, it's going to be a very, very important weekend and week in the lead up to that. So certainly, there's going to be a lot of excitement because the Vancouver Canucks are going to be the host. But also remember this, that whenever the team that is hosting the draft, they try to create a bit of a buzz. So you could expect trades. There will be a lot of trades. There will be a lot of people in town. So it's a good time, and especially if you're a hockey geek, it's the place to be.
Randeep Janda, thank you so much for the insight. And for more discussion and analysis on the draft and the lead up to it in June, keep it locked on Sportsnet 650 on your radio or online. At the Sportsnet 650 studios, Travis Prasad, City News.